rate drop significantly lower. It's gonna be a lower quality stream, but should be at least able to maintain it. Alright, let me send a tweet saying we're back. Alright, so I played a little bit of this game yesterday, but Pulago, you have never experienced anything in not only the Divinity series, but anything in the entire, like, series of Boulder Gate style games, correct?
I mean, I'm a little bit familiar. Like, it's a dungeon crawler, right?
It's basically a D&D style, D&D style game. Now, I've never played the original Divinity, but, I know one thing it kind of does that's pretty cool is it lets you do multiplayer with either friends or even random people online. You could basically build a character and then jump into somebody's quest if they want to go, I don't know, do a really small campaign with someone in there. So I have my character made, and I guess we'll go through the beginning of it again so you can get a feel for what the story is, but this game is cool. They have a bunch of different ways to play it, depending on how good you are at these kind of, like, overhead Diablo-esque.
Oh, so it's a Diablo game.
It's like, what it's actually more like is if you ever played any of the original Dragon Age, it is incredibly similar to that. But it's got that, like, isometric style. So if you're not really good at those kind of games and you just want something a little less strategy heavy, they have Explorer mode, which kind of lets you just... Combat's not emphasized, you're feeling it out. Classic mode is what I'm going to be playing, but there's also a Tactician mode if you're really just... I don't care about the story, I care about the combat, and setting up some sick killer combos. And then Honor mode, which is basically fucking hard mode. So this is like a good mixture of, I'm here for story and I'm here for combat. Now, when it comes to character customization, they go fucking above and beyond the call. Because you can make your own character. There are tons of really good characters that you can, like, custom characters that you can make, but let's just say, for example, you're kind of new to this and you don't really want to build a custom Peter Dinklage with the ability to levitate booger
Poison staffs.
Yeah, booger mancery.
You made Booger Man, that's what you did.
They have what are called origin characters, which means that they also have the ability to booger mance as well, but they have 6 characters who, like, will be your party members in the game. But let's just say you really like their story. They all have really interesting backgrounds, really interesting builds. In fact, let's listen to some of their stories now, because we'll get to know a little bit about them. So this is a character I picked for my first playthrough. And by first playthrough, I mean I played it for 2 hours before I decided to make my own character, because I kind of fucked up. Your failed rebellion against the Queen nearly destroyed you, so you began a new life on the high seas. Now your old enemy is back, and if you don't stop her, no one will. And if just one line of text isn't good enough for you, you can click Listen to Origin Story.
Just thinking about someone I used to know.
Oh, Fane is the fucking best.
A cousin. The Queen, in fact. A tyrant. I tried to stop her, but things don't always go according to plan. she cast me out to a forgotten island and made short work of my allies too. Lucky for me, I was able to commandeer a ship and began a new life for myself out on the high seas. Aye, but I hear that the Queen is at it again, and there's something darker behind her madcap schemes this time. If I don't stop her, I don't know who will.
I don't like this standing around.
Thane, who is my
Oh,
favorite...
skeleton.
Yes.
Skeleton.
So you're gonna like this. You're gonna like this, Pulla. In addition to making whatever custom character you want, you can also totally choose, instead of just doing an elf, a dwarf, a human, or a lizard, you can do undead dwarf, undead elf, undead human, undead lizard. And undead is actually a talent in this game, which means that you get healed from poison, regular healing will damage you, and when you're in town, people get scared shitless of you. So, like, our buddy Thane here can actually wear a mask, like a elf mask, to make him blend into humanity. He also
Listen to origin story. Listen to origin story.
He also has an ability called Play Dead, which
I don't
basically...
care. Listen to origin story.
Alright.
Oh, don't stare. How would you look after eons in some ghastly crypt? Your people are rather prone to death. Mine are not.
He has a
When
skeleton
I emerged
beard.
from my completely unjustified imprisonment, I found them gone. Our culture forgotten. Any trace of the world I knew all but obliterated. I must even hide my true face beneath an ever-shifting mask for fear you savages will attack me. That is how I wander this strange world. Trying to uncover the truth about a history you primitive people never even knew existed.
Skeletons do have to worry about racism.
Yeah,
So he can do what now?
he can play dead.
Sorry.
Which basically means that for 3 turns, he just falls into a pile of bones and has the enemies think he's dead. We have Ifan Ben Mezed, a crusader in Lucia's army. Basically the soldier 76 of this game.
Get off my lawn.
Once I was a crusader for the Divine Order. I pledged my life to Lucian the Divine. The war changed everything. He sent me to save the elves I grew up amongst. I arrived too late.
Is this like a war? Is this?
Yeah, they're trying to shoot at him while he's trying to tell a story.
Annihilating everyone.
Sorry, I'm not
who
used to
wants me in the
fantasy
process.
settings that have bullets.
Now I'm a mercenary killer. One of the infamous lone wolves. And my next target is none other than Lucian's own son.
Lucio's son.
Oh, let's break it down.
Let's kill my son.
I really like her too. Losi.
Losi. Losi.exe.
Mostly because she can do this, a little bit of giving the old razzle dazzle.
All my life, I've been a performer, a musician, beloved and celebrated by all. But I have a secret. I'm also a playground for sprites and spirits and worse. The voice that rings inside me now is darker than any that came before. Almost caused a bunch of my fans to rip each other to pieces. But you can trust me. I've got this under control.
She's got stand power.
Step 1. Find out who, or what, is trying to take control of my mind. Step 2. Make it sorry it ever tried.
Okay, this is pretty cool.
They're all really
I'll
good.
be honest, I'm usually not into like heavy fantasy settings.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
The characters are all pretty cool. And Red Prince is also really, really good.
This is a Yoshi.
Famed, of course, for my unique red skin and unparalleled skills as a general of the House of War, I, the Red Prince, was raised within the vast palaces of the fabled Forbidden City. I was destined to become the next emperor. But my ambitions suffered a bit of a setback when I fell from grace for cavorting with demons. Now, I'm exiled and hunted by assassins. But I assure you, I remain undaunted and as determined as ever to claim my rightful throne.
And the final one is Sibyl, a slave no more.
I used to be a slave, kept under the thumb of the master, the bastard that made me hunt down my own kin. How did he do that, you ask?
How did he do that?
With the living scar you see on my cheek, this horror that takes no more than a song sung by Master Dearest to control my very thoughts. But now the tables have turned. I broke my shackles, and when I finally find him, I will make the Master sing a very different kind of song.
So basically,
That's awesome.
if we don't think we could make our own character, we can play as any of these guys. But they're all going to be in our party anyway. We can choose, I think
Oh,
you
so
can have
these
up to
guys
4.
are like our party members anyway.
Yeah, you can have up to 4 in your group. So basically, if you don't think that you could make a good one, you could have any of them. But, we can make one of our own.
Oh, customs, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the undead are an abhorred race in the town, considered abomination of the natural order. Those who wish to walk among the living must mask themselves or risk provoking violence. So basically, you have to wear a skin mask to go into a town. So what I did last time was elf, and they have here build preset. There are a lot of goddamn build presets, so we can, yeah. Pretty much any character in this game can play any role. And I kind of fucked up because I picked an origin character and didn't realize any of these tabs are important. So, first off, the name. I already picked one. Dranos the Dogmancer. And I call us the Dogmancer because in talents, these are all kind of like from our elven state, we have, we know more about lore, and elves have the ability to eat dead flesh to access the memories of the dead. Everything else in here, we can pick one of these, and there are a lot of interesting
you
ones.
get like Flesh Eater and Ancient Knowledge, and then it's like ambidextrous.
Yeah,
You're left and right-handed. It's okay.
it reduces the cost of
You've
using
got
grenades.
leeches.
It doesn't even help you dual wield stuff. It makes you better at throwing grenades when your offhand is free. Arrow recovery.
What is Far Out Man?
Far Out Man increases the range of skills and scrolls by 2 meters.
Oh.
So if you have a
Okay,
wand, you
so
can
it's-
throw the wand better.
I thought it was like you eat mushrooms to get power.
Go far out.
Want to get high?
Basically, you can build almost any kind of character you want. With Glass Cannon, you start every round with max AP, but your magic and physical armor do not protect you from statuses. So, you have a lot of really cool stuff, but there's one really important one we need, and that's Pet Pal. And Pet Pal gives us the ability to talk to animals. So,
Okay, can we do undead? Can we do
Oh yeah, we could do an undead.
A spooky skeleton.
We get an undead in our party, but we can do undead elf. So
Oh, bone color.
we don't have skin color. We have bone color, and bone color. Bone color is really interesting because the color schemes that they use in this are ivory, snow, antiquated, marrow, decomposed, sunbaked, charred, algae, nutmeg, oasis. So what are we feeling? Just bleached?
There's no Skeletor. Man.
We have different faces though. Those two look exactly alike. Oh, that's got a little bit of gold in there.
It's just got a.
Oh, that's cool.
Can you like go closer to him? I can't see anything.
Yes I can.
Okay.
Well, that's about as close as I can get.
That's fine.
Yeah, so that's kind of like a metal who's a. Oh, that's just part of the face is broken off.
Yeah.
I kind of like the silver mask. We can go
Instead
bald.
of hairstyle, we get helmets. I kind of like the default.
Helmets
Ooh,
are.
What is this?
That's what you can toggle what a helmet would look like.
Oh, what? Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of liking no. I'm kind of liking no hair, and like that nice chrome.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
So
like a heavy metal skeleton.
Although if we did have hair, what color could it be? It could be rabbit, fawn,
it could be-
canary, dormouse, eagle, bear, elk, coyote, sparrow, fox, coxcomb, macaw, hawk, timberwolf, crow, gecko.
Oh, gotta go crow.
You know
Yeah.
what? That is actually a pretty cool look. Do you want to have the little horns too?
I like this turned into like skeleton fashion simulator.
Yeah.
Try again. Meet your maker.
I like the scholar voice myself. Now in terms of skills that we can do, there are so many builds that we can do. Also, hey Silent Warlock, how's it going?
Hey,
The one you can do Omega Rogue, Wayfarer, who is a little more of a hunting character, Witch, Wizard, which is the Boogermancer that we saw. But the one I played yesterday, and you could do your own custom preset. You can do your own custom set, by the way. There's so much customization that you can do. This game is pretty nuts with that. The one I played yesterday that was pretty fun is called Metamorph, which gives you the ability to do Polymorph,
what is
Persuasion, and in terms of skills, you can do Tentacle Lash, which turns your arm into a tentacle, Chicken Claw, which basically polymorphs someone into a chicken, or Bull Horns, which turns you into a bull for 4 turns.
Now, will this turn you into a skeleton bull?
I had not tried that, and I am extremely excited to try that. So I think we're gonna go with Metamorph again.
Chicken.
The problem is when you change class, it does change what talent you have. So, I gotta make sure to pop that off and get our pet pal back. I accidentally did that last
You
time.
just pick one?
You get more later on. You get one to start off, though. Lone
Okay,
Wolf.
so this is, more like D&D.
Lone Wolf, Brandon was mentioning earlier in chat, provides 2 max HP, 2 recovery AP, 30 vitality, 30 physical armor, 30 magic armor, and double invested points in attributes and combat abilities, except for Polymorph, which means it doesn't do diddly dick for us, while you are adventuring solo or at most with one companion. Basically, they have nearly this exact skill in Fallout 4.
Who did this? Who made this?
This was made by, let me pull that info up. Basically from what I hear, they did, I know they did, Divinity 1, Original Sin 1 a while back, but while that was good, this is apparently, perfected. It is made by, Larian Studios for Microsoft Windows.
Never heard of him.
They're a Belgian game developer that was founded in 1996. They're kind of a relatively smaller developer. Pretty much the Divinity series is like what they've got. Apparently they've made a bunch of these Divinity games from like 2000 onward. But these are like, I want to say the original Divinity 2 was the original Divinity was kickstarted. Yeah, no, we're doing Pet Pal because I have dogs to talk to. And this is interesting for conversations.
Man, will the dogs like you because you're made of bones?
Yes, some dogs will actually like you because you're made of bones. You can select tags. Tags meaning when someone asks you a question. Oh, I'm gonna assume that was Silent Warlock with the follow. Thank you. When someone asks you a question, if you have selected one of these tags, you can answer in a specific way. So, for example, I like Mystic, which means that you're attuned with the void and gods and ethereal shit. I like it because I have a Cthulhu arm and I can eat flesh to remember shit. But you can also do stuff like Outlaw, which basically means that if someone asks you to do something, you have the ability.
You can pick both?
You
can pick
you have
more than one?
You have two that you can pick. So you have some that come with your class in general, like Elf, Male, Undead, but I also can be Mystic and Outlaw. So if someone tells me to go help them with something, I can select the Outlaw option and tell them to go shove it.
Oh, okay. Alright.
So it's Barbarian.
Oh, instruments. What's instruments?
Instruments is cool. So
okay, so that's I remember you saying something about this.
Yep, I talked about this yesterday on Twitter. When you go into battle, the instrument that plays during your turn or like cutscenes involving you get to pick what instrument plays your battle theme when you go in. So right now
what's
it's
your leitmotif?
Yeah. So
I would say this guy looks like a cello.
Yeah, I like the cello.
Yeah.
But you can also pick the tambura or the oud, but I like the cello. Okay. Playing as an undead poses unique risks and benefits. Undead must veil their true selves from the living or risk being attacked. Healing potions and spells will damage you, while poison heals. Undead can pick locks with their bony fingers, and can survive the Scourge of Death Fog.
Huh. Okay, let's do it.
Yep. Yeah, the coolest feature in this game is the ability to talk to animals, for a reason you'll see.
It all happened like I knew it would.
I am hoping to convince Poloko to pick this game up so we can do co-op.
Drop of sauce magic.
Sauce magic?
Yeah,
Like
so
flies to honey, the monsters swarmed. The
How do you like them apples?
carnage began. And the Magisters pointed their fingers
Darkest
at
Dungeon.
me.
yep, it's got a little bit of that like
Just
art
as
style
I'd
of it.
planned. I was shackled and collared and sent to Fort Joy.
So the type of magic in this
I'd
game.
come here to kill Godwoken. But instead I became part of their story.
You have the magic that runs through you that basically lets you do shit like this is called source magic. So we are.
Oh, I thought she said sauce magic.
No, we are sorcerers, but not sorcery. We are sorcerers.
Okay.
There is a distinction.
Half-Life sorcerers.
Yeah, we're basically all doing Gary's mod here.
Oh, are we in a secret lab?
We are getting woken up. We just got our collar put on us.
Well, look what the dog dug up. You're lucky they didn't notice just how thin you were under those bandages.
So there's a skull that's just here at the very beginning, and if you play as any character but an undead, it just sits there. But because we're undead, it's going to talk to us.
Although,
Okay, so we've got
seeing someone wrapped up like that, they probably thought you had the
Yep.
scabbing plague. Heh? Look, laugh, but don't touch. Better keep that hood down, mind you. The living don't take kindly to seeing their future staring back at them.
So basically, while we're here, we are just wearing a hood to keep people from knowing our true form. So
Okay, so it looks like an RTS kind of thing.
yeah, the items that show up in chests in this are random every time.
Ah, you're up. Yes. Looks like that collar fits you snugly enough. Nice bit of work, even if I do say so myself.
So she's gotta know we must be undead.
There. Not too tight, I hope. The collar, I mean. Oh, not to worry. Every dog has to get used to its leash. In the meantime, your next stop will be Magister William. All passengers have to be registered in the ship's manifest, and he's the chap in charge of the logs.
Everything in this game is voice acted.
You'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers' quarters.
So here's what those tags I was talking about earlier signify. We could just try and pull the thing off, but we can also act like an outlaw and say that, or act like a mystic and say that.
Huh.
Let's have
I like Mystic.
Yeah, let's talk about the dream that we had.
You're alive, and you're having a conversation. You are on a ship, of course. But luckily for us both, we're merely sailing the plain old sea.
Index fingers pressed to her lips, she pauses a moment to give you a scrutinizing gander.
My word, you do seem a bit befuddled, don't you? Perhaps I was a bit too generous with... Oh well, I'm sure you'll soon gather your wits. Most likely. Eventually. In the meantime, a new life awaits. And if you're a particularly good boy, perhaps a cure as well. And why, for my peace of mind, of course. Why don't you try casting one of those source spells of yours? See what happens.
Alright, let's unleash the
Currents of
Cthulhu.
magic surge inside you, boiling, bursting, then breaking, only to fade back into your soul like rain into the earth.
You better stop before you hurt yourself. All will, but no result. There you have it, see? The collar's function. It neuters you, of sorts. Makes you unable to cast source. For your own peace of mind, of course. Yours
Can't cast that
and
sauce.
the whole world's.
So we also have the ability to sneak. Like, for example, if I try and take this book right here, they don't like my attitude. But if I get out of sight and press C, I can Toy Story it up with this.
I like that.
barrel.
That's how it's represented.
And I can take that book. Now let's see what that book says. Every book in this game is readable. But this one just talks a lot about hexes and how to basically make the collar that we have. But consequences of this game don't immediately show up. Because even if we take that book, eventually she's going to notice it and we're going to get obliterated. Because basically these guys can wreck us early on. So let's throw the book back.
So they'll just destroy you then. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Brandon, for the sub.
Hey.
Ooh. Oh, right, it's the first of the... It's, Twitch Prime rollover. So, yeah. They saw that even though we put the book back, they saw that, we stole it. So, we could try and talk our way out of it. Which, we have wits, we have finesse, we have, we can claim that they're elf racist. Isn't it? I love that vaporwave gif. let's be witty. It's gonna fail because you have to have really high persuasion to pass this test. Oh yeah, and they get to go first.
Oh. Well,
oh,
should we have avoided this?
Yep. And unfortunately, I can't turn him into a chicken. But I can turn myself into a bull. And it doesn't do shit. They are way more powerful than me.
Okay, so it looks like it's turn-based.
Yeah, it's a turn-based strategy, pretty much.
Okay.
So, yeah, when you die, it's just reload. I knew it did an autosave, so that's why I didn't mind taking that death there to show the sneaking mechanic. We just have to fly through that conversation again.
Nice wall effect.
Yeah, the seeing through walls is kind of cool.
Looks like that collar fits you snugly enough. Nice bit of work, even there. Not too. In the mean, you'll find him on the other side of this. No
index.
My word. Oh well.
And yeah, that's right. We should probably reset the dog met counter back to 0.
A new life awaits. Why from currents? You better there you for your.
Ooh. There's a lot of shortcuts in this game, like pressing 1 will turn. Pressing 1 will allow you to enter combat with anything. Hitting Alt will let you know what you can pick up. If a thing is outlined in red, you cannot pick it up.
You mean you can't pick it up without consequence?
Yeah, without consequence, rather. And hitting Shift will show you how far you can currently run to attack. So you have action points in this game, which mean like they dictate how far you can run, how many things you can do in a turn, and that red line is how far, if I were to currently get into a fight, how far I could run away.
A young magister stands pale and silent. Her knuckles whiten around her weapon. Behind the magister, a bloodied mass lies in a heap. Gore and limbs lie at odd angles. You can't make out a face amid the mess.
There's been a murder. A sorcerer was killed by one of your own. Lucky you were busy getting your collar fitted at the top. Waters is investigating. She'll figure out who did it. Always does.
Always does. Sort of thing happen often.
You're one of them. You know what sorcerers are capable of.
Yeah, see,
Whoever did
it's
this
sorcerers with source written in it.
Killed a man. Small ones this time. Thank the gods. We'll find out who did it.
Let me eat his flesh.
Ugly sight, isn't it? Burns me up this happened under our protection. We're extremely lucky no Voidwalker followed the source that did this.
She looks up at you with a mirthless smile.
I was on duty in your room when the murder happened. You're one of the only indisputably innocent people on the ship. Unless you can commit murder in your sleep, of course.
Soon enough.
I thought as much. Listen, I could use someone to bring me a good lead, and I'll throw in a shiny gold coin for you.
No snitch.
Of principle. You let me know if you hear anything. Whoever did
Snitches
this
get switches and witches get stitches.
And I like a switch.
Yeah, let's go snitch.
Alright, so someone left tea and an empty potion bottle in there. We could brew us up some tea. The thing that sucks is you have to check those every time just because there could be something different in them.
Yeah, these barrels suck.
Some of them have... I got a really good roll in my last one that I played. I ended up getting 2 wands in mine. Oh. Hitting just a bit of lag. There we go.
I did.
Some gold.
You got what?
I hit a bit of lag. Here we go.
Yeah, but what did you find in the barrel?
Oh, I got, in my last run, I got 2 wands that, basically if you equip 2 one-handed wands, you can, like, throw both, fire and, in my case, air. So, like, you can find some
fire
pretty cool...
plus air is usually pretty good.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool combo, but we got a sheep that we got to talk to. There we go.
I'm not suited for this. It's sea cow, not sea sheep.
So all the voice actors talk like animals, just enough.
Haven't got any shears, have you? People these days. I think I'm gonna be.
These are important. Bedrolls.
So, like, I guess there was no importance behind talking to that animal.
No. There are some animals that, like, I didn't just take it just for the fact of talking to dogs. It's actually a pretty damn useful skill early on. Because you can basically talk dogs out of fighting you.
Oh, well that's pretty good.
So now we get to meet all of our compatriots.
An elf sits tucked away in a dark spot, lazily rolling dice onto the surface of a barrel. They sound like the dry cackling of an...
Snake eyes.
She chuckles.
I bet that's just what they'll look like. Rolling dice. Deciding fates.
Can you read the future in cow entrails as well?
She eyes you suspiciously.
Yeah, and Pet Pal opens up a bunch of quests.
Not the future.
You can do favorites for
but
dogs?
I can read the past in flesh. Just like you. And I could lick your arm and tell you how you spent the night before last. Shall I?
Try it out. I think you may have a fun surprise.
Oh, that's gonna be a bad taste.
When you bear an arm of bone.
My. Guess I'll have to find out the memory from Marrow, won't I?
She gives your arm a vigorous stroke of the tongue, efficient like a cat grooming.
You were in a cellar with other sorcerers, watching, staring at them, hoping that none would stare back. You were thinking of flesh, or to be rather more precise, the pleasures of the flesh, those that have eluded you for so long.
Yep, we were thinking of the bone
She pats
zone.
you on the shoulder, consolingly.
There, don't you worry, darling. Your secret's safe with me. I don't lick and tell. Don't worry, honey. It isn't yours.
She looks you up and down with the merest hint of a coy smile on her lips.
Never say never, though.
Just noticing just a tiny bit of lag. I'm just gonna reload my game.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
There's a bit of glitches here and there. I did notice yesterday. It's about the only...
Oh, is it bad?
It's not bad. It's not terrible. It's the kind of things that you can honestly just save and reload, and it usually takes care of it.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Dog.
Mad?
You! Sorcerer! Blood? No! Go! Oof.
I'll tell you if
So that's one dog, Matt.
quiet long enough for me to listen.
Name? The Divine Order wants to know. Well, you aren't here on my list. Scram, eh? We're trying to catch a killer here.
So yeah, all dogs kind of talk like that. Who? Where are you? Who?
Ball.
We could steal that kid's ball.
That kid has a ball.
Yeah, the kid's got a leather ball right there.
You look a little bit elfish. Maybe your daddy was an elf. My daddy's name is Frida. He's waiting for me at home.
Cool, don't care.
Yeah, that's a nice
No,
kid.
no, sir. She's a really good singer. I'm better, though. Listen. La, 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 la.
Oh, please let me take my hood off.
I'm here because I'm magic. Are you here because you're weird?
Ah, there you are. Husband. Would you please tell this very charming gaggle of not at all brat-like babes that I am by no accounts this Losa woman, nor do I sing, in fact. I'm deathly allergical.
Well, if you want to play this game, you're going to have a fun surprise.
How very correct you are, spouse of mine.
Oh, and you get little things
Madam
like
Josephine
improvements to your
Gribbles
attitude by going
refuses
along
to
with
be confused with
things like
anyone
that.
else. What? What's so funny?
Her pinched face cracks into a great grin, and she shoos the children away from her with a laugh.
Yeah, okay, you found me out. Go on and git, and maybe I'll sing you something when I'm good and ready.
She turns to you, dark-eyed and dirty-haired, and smiles flatly.
Gotta keep ourselves entertained, haven't we? You presume right. Thanks, but I already belong to an elite and exclusive ship gang. We play ball every day after lunch. You're too soft for it.
I am nothing but hard.
You take care, though. Nope. Trying not to find anything out, either. Ignorance is bliss. The utterer, the better.
Suddenly, her eyes cloud to an unnatural black. Greyish veins run down her face, and her mouth tightens into a cruel sneer. As quickly as they came, the clouds clear. She smiles as though no change came over her.
I like that she just occasionally gets taken by the void and brought
Good
back.
luck, Chief.
Mad? Insufferable? Surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway? Did you see the body? They ought to let you taste a bit. Maybe you'd find out who done it.
I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Nest.
So, a couple things here that we can just steal right off the bat that are really important. These bedrolls, which are pretty much like a tent in Final Fantasy. You want to take those ASAP.
Okay.
Because otherwise, if you don't take them off the ship, you can forget them. And they're pretty important.
A broad dwarf sits totally upright on the bench, eyes closed, palms face up on his knees.
I like that they let him,
His
like...
beard is a cascade of meticulous plaits, each one
I like that they're like, oh yeah, you gotta put on your slave collar and prison clothes, but we're gonna let you keep that nice daunting hat. We're gonna let you keep your pirate hat.
Listen up, boy. You hear that? The ship, of course.
Alright, let's listen to the ship.
A wave of sound washes over you. The unintelligible chatter of your shipmates, the groaning of wood from floor to ceiling.
And? Sick as a leper's cat. From the state of it, I'd say she's being cared for by a bunch of beardless babes who never loved anyone but their own mums. But there's more. Listen close.
I love Scottish swearing.
There now, just like that. Aha!
Okay, squeak.
His eyes snap open as his countenance breaks into an expression of joy. One great paw claps you on.
There. You heard it, didn't you? I knew it. I knew it. Aye, this is good news, boy. Good news.
Yeah, I heard it. What did I hear?
What is it?
The wheel, don't you see, you beautiful idiot?
The wheel.
Squeaks whenever the helmsman jerks it clockwise, which means we're heading east. Burn my beard. That means if we've been travelling for, yes, only 10.34 nautical miles to Fort Joy.
I love this response. You shouldn't talk that way about your magnificent beard.
Just say that again.
Ah, so you've eyes as well as ears, eh? You'll go far, mate.
Because he's like, burn my beard. You're like, don't talk that way about your magnificent beard.
Sorry, I'm getting like huge portions of the stream just not coming to me.
Not coming through. Is that on screen shares end, or like the audio isn't coming through?
It's on Discord's end.
Okay. Do you want to try cutting the screen share? See if that does it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what that does. But yeah, what I was saying, one of the responses that you can give to... He's like, burn my beard, that means we're 10 miles away. The response you can give to him is, don't talk that way about your magnificent, wonderful beard.
No indeed, boy. But that ain't my final destination.
The dwarf leans back from the table and strokes his beard.
Okay, let me know if that comes through a little better for you.
Merrily. His eyes roll.
Well, I don't have any cutoffs so far, so yeah, it would go for maybe 15 seconds, and then I would lose like 5 seconds.
I'm thinking it's probably just whatever the fuck is going on with my upload speed right now is probably cutting that.
He continues stroking his beard, a beatific smile on his lips, and doesn't acknowledge you anymore.
Your kind always hung closest to our divine.
Well, well. What have we here? A fresh face in this stale hell.
So do we just find all of our party members on the ship?
Yep, all of our party members are basically in this hold with us.
The lizard looks.
So you get kind of like an early chance to see what conversation with them is like.
All of a sudden, he grips you firmly by the chin, with the intent of inspecting your teeth.
Oh no, let him do it. It's gonna be funny.
There's some discoloration, as well as a rather disconcerting lack of tongue and gums, but I've seen worse. After all, one can't expect to find prime merchandise on a squalid little ship like this.
So the Red Prince was royalty before he got kicked off for making a deal with a demon. So he basically thinks that he's even though he is enslaved on the ship, he still wants to try and pick up a slave or two.
Now then, to business. You will answer me 3 questions. The first one is this. Can you cook?
So I didn't get this option before because I didn't play Undead. I can, but my sense of taste isn't what it used to be.
And of course, a cook who can't taste is about as useful as a dog in a chess game.
He's such an I know he's such an asshole, and I love him.
Question: can you knit, weave? In short, tailor?
Oh, I can make these bones shine, baby.
Oh, but to feel the caress of satin on my scarlet skin once more. A most satisfactory answer indeed. On then to my final query. Have you the ability to administer the upkeep of one's personal appearance? The delicate art of cosmetics is what I'm after.
Yeah. I'm certainly used to, well, keeping appearances up.
As per your own testimony, you can tailor and groom, but you have the taste buds of a dung beetle. Still, beggars can't be choosers. So without further ado, I offer you my sincerest congratulations. As of now, you are my slave. My slave, of course. Oh, but I see. Yes, I suppose it must take some time for the full extent of this honor to sink in. Anyway, you may leave me for a moment. We'll go over your duties once we reach Fort Joy. Now, shoo!
Oh, screw you too.
I spent my life singing for my slaves to bring me my supper.
Apparently the lizards are
Boiled
racist.
roots and
Or,
rotten tubers,
the
too.
lizards are the slavers. Alex Jones was right.
Meanwhile, the Magisters feast on honeyed meat behind this very wall. The indignity.
Well,
let's take this water barrel.
Leash now.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hang you right over the side of this ship with him.
Oh, that's a conflict.
I'm busy watching for clues, sorcerer. Go take your sub-story somewhere else.
A scruffy man lounges against the wall with scarred arms folded. A sly smile playing on his face, he stares across at the Magister guarding him. Noticing you, he straightens and beckons for you to come closer.
Watch your back, new fish. There's a murderer on board, and I'd bet 3 months' pay it's this tramp Ifan.
Rolling his eyes at the Magister's warning, the man named Ifan beckons again.
So we get the outlaw option of clenching our fist as we move closer to him.
He leans in and adjusts your collar with a sharp tug, balancing its weight so it no longer presses unpleasantly on your neck. He
pinches less that way, right?
Hocking a phlegmy gobbet in your
He's a good
direction,
dad.
The sullen Magister settles back to his task of glowering at Ifan. And now, you.
We used to know each other, more's the pity. I was his commander many, many, many moons ago. Isn't that right, Vic?
Standing far back from Ifan, the tight-faced Magister draws one finger across his throat in an elaborate fashion, but says nothing. Ifan grins, flashing pointed white teeth.
Same as he was at 14 years old. Only difference is somebody gave him a bigger sword and now he's Johnny Big Pants.
I knew
my
I should have
Steam name, Johnny Big Pants.
I knew I should have re-rolled my character.
Long story. Maybe I'll tell you about it in the joy. Away. No. The dead man. Finn, is it? I'd no business with him. And I wouldn't put a man down without good reason.
He glances over at Magister Victor, who's staring back at him with pointed intensity.
I just want to hear the narrator say Johnny Big Pants.
Damn shame sheer annoyance isn't reason enough. The joy. I've heard a lot. Nothing good. No surprise there. Wonder if we'll get to meet the ringmaster himself.
I'm not eager to make his acquaintance.
Not eager to bow before the great Bishop Alexander, son of the Divine himself. My sentiments exactly. But Vic here will blow a blood vessel if he hears you talking like that.
What are you conspiring about over there? You, elf. What's your name?
Oh, don't mind him. Vic's just got a bee in his bonnet. And that bee is me.
How do you sound so badass saying that?
That's not a grizzled line. No.
I'm a bee. Oh, my name is Gil.
Magister Victor looks at you suspiciously, then scrawls something illegible down in a tiny notebook. He scowls.
Away with you, at once.
Ifan performs an elaborate pantomime of keeping quiet, one finger in front of his lips as he...
Oh, that's almost all of them. We just got one last person to talk to. That's the self over here.
The elf is reading a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia. He looks up, his big round eyes scanning your body, absorbing every detail. He reaches out and examines your bandages, rubbing them between his fingers.
Fascinating.
He sits back and returns to his book, flicking quickly from page to page, completely oblivious to your presence.
Well, we can ask him what the hell he's doing, whether the book he's reading is good. Who am I speaking to? We can reach over and rustle his hair or take our leave. Well, he went and grabbed us without our permission. Let's go ruffle his hair.
Yeah.
What purpose did that serve? Was that a greeting? Was it... Oh dear. I seem to have crossed some cultural taboo. How difficult.
Uh-oh.
You have my
Problematic.
sincere apologies. Perhaps I should demand the same from those red-cloaked humans. They laid their hands on me more than once. Perhaps. Perhaps not. Understanding is all rather relative. Take this book, for example. I understand all of it, and yet none of it makes sense. It is simultaneously too detailed and insufficient. I know the beginning of this tale and the end, but I am rather missing the middle.
That's the Bible, right?
Tell me, what do you know of our world's history?
So we have a lot of options that we can pick here. We can give an elf answer, we can give an undead answer, or we can give a mystic answer. Let's go for the mystic.
Oh, please. I have no interest in that. Your books are too full of it already. No, I want to know about the Celestial.
I want to know about your gods. This text tells me that they created all creatures, but nothing of what came before.
Oh wow, I guess it really was the Bible.
Where did these gods come from? Who are their people? Where are the others of their kind?
Oh, I pondered in nature. I don't have any answers.
Of course you don't have any useful information. Why did I expect anything else? Now please, run along. I have a world to decipher.
No amount of pestering will get the elf to take his eyes off his book.
Here to register, sir. Good, good. Magister Williams is just about done with the last passenger. You faring okay so far? Glad to hear it. You head on in now. Williams will get you sorted fast.
He definitely said shorted.
Don't you get saucy with me.
Train her, and if she tries to run, shoot to kill.
Well, it seems like they're having fun.
Officer, what on earth is the matter?
Murder most foul, and I strongly suspect you know all about it.
Standing at the center of the room, you spot a sorcerer haughtily eyeing a pair of nervous-looking magisters. They keep their crossbow trained upon her as she's being interrogated by...
Fane is definitely one of the better characters. They're all good characters.
So you admit it then? You murdered that poor fella?
Yes, I did. But of course, that was only the beginning.
So this is the Applemancer.
It's the witch.
Yeah, it's the Applemancer that we saw before. Wendigo. Wendigo.
It's not Wendigo, it's Wendigo.
There are others whose lives must end.
Good God, the woman's mad. You there, sorcerer, go and fetch Magister Siwan. We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her, hands and feet.
Let's ignore him and just ask her directly what she
Your
means.
journey draws to a close. Do stick around for its finale, though, because...
She reaches for her collar and simply removes it.
I'm just about to create a scene.
Subdue her, men, quickly! If she casts Source, the Voidwoken will come. They'll end us all.
She smiles with wicked satisfaction.
Precisely.
Alright, combat. Well, she's got the first turn, but I think we should be okay. And she has set the entire ship on fire. Someone hacked a little bit.
What's happened?
Oh, so it's not really a fight.
Yeah, it's not really a fight. But what I can do... Got some wine, some pumpkin soup, some good cheese bread, a hock of ham, some chub fish, red snapper, more wine. Listen, I know everything's on fire, but I got priorities.
Do we even need this stuff?
Not really. So, the weapons that you get also change every time. These are where, like, you get your first weapons. So, we got a shiv, a pitchfork, and a wand. So, right now, let's equip... For right now, the pitchfork is probably our best weapon. Oh, and every weapon you equip has a special move. Like, for example, if I equip a shiv, I learn, oh wait, it's not a shiv, it's... Like, if you learn a staff, you can... If you get a two-handed staff, you can get, like, a special, like, skill of that weapon. So right now, let's go all in. Also, you have a backpack, which can... You have a inventory of how much you can hold. But you have a backpack as well if you want to, like... For example, throw stuff like our bedrolls and kind of clear up your inventory a little bit. Let's get all this wine.
Seemingly bottomless. Okay.
Yeah. The stronger you make yourself, the more you can hold. Oh, and let's loot all of these piles of flesh and bones that are on the floor. Oh, and if you go to loot somebody who's dead, you get this, like, bone overlay. Alright, I had some good gold. Oh, we gotta steal that deck of cards. You could steal a lot in this game.
I like how it just kind of flies to you.
Yeah, you have super telepathy. As well as any, like that requisition we picked up. We can read almost anything we find in the game. So, even if it's just something like, hey, what did they have? Pumpkin seed flour, sunflower flour, turnips, cabbages, and human ale. I don't know what human ale is. Let's see what they got. Oh hell yeah, we got some soap and gold.
Why is soap good?
I don't know. Just I never found it before. I've done this opening now. I've done this opening now about 4 times, and I've found something new every single time. So we can get from the dog, which unfortunately did die. We can steal its earth essence. We can basically take the essence of the dog and make something out of it.
Make a super dog.
Make a dog orb.
Make dog
The
2.0.
young woman lies in a heap on the floor. She's breathing normally, but her eyes are wide open, like those of a corpse. Dark, greyish-black clouds swirl through them.
Wake up!
Stir.
Like, thankfully none of our actual party members have died.
What? What happened? Must have been the turnips.
Some of them went a little, are dealing with panic differently than others.
You
Slap him in the
dare
face.
strike a royal. Ooh.
The lizard's eyes close as he slips into unconsciousness.
She didn't do as well. She got turned into just a pile of goo. Ooh, an orange.
Oh wow.
The dwarf lies in a heap on the floor, his great beard twisted and tangled around him. He is stock still. You hear a faint thud, thud, thud. He's alive, but only just.
No, not the final dark. Not yet.
Her hand lies limp in yours. She's too weak to stand.
The dice roll darkly. They're rolling for me.
Not my Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Ifan lies motionless, curled on the ground like an animal. Under his shaggy hair, his eyes flicker open, but he doesn't register your presence at all.
Lucien. Lucien.
Ifan cries out, then his eyes fall closed again. No matter how much you shake him now.
Let's loot. Oh, I got good news and bad news. Good news is that guy who hates you, he's dead.
Bad news is he didn't have much.
Yeah, he didn't really have much on him.
So, like, we seem to be getting a bunch of junk. Do we get use for this, or is this just like sell it at a vendor?
No, you can craft a lot of stuff. So I'm taking everything I can, including this mutton. We're getting a lot of gold, which is good. Oh, let's remember. Oh, that's Magister Waters. There's the dead body.
Guy.
Yeah, we can. The chunk of flesh is right there. So let's go ahead and chow down.
Flesh slides down your throat. You feel his consciousness enter yours. His memories are yours to experience. You are Finn. Your heart is heavy. You know too much. It's all too much. You met him. A bright light blinds you, then fades. You feel a tremendous power in your hands, but they are shaking so hard you can barely use them. Suddenly you're on this very ship, crouched in a corner, hugging your knees. A figure approaches, an older woman. Her eyes are kind. She comes closer. She says she wants to talk. She reaches a hand toward you. You grasp it. The memories end. You are no longer Finn. You return to yourself with a jolt.
Guys, I think the old woman did it. I don't know.
Nah.
I just got a hunch.
No, that's impossible. Wait a minute. Adrenaline. What?
Oh yeah.
Magister lies on the floor, unconscious and
So
bleeding from a
when you
dire-looking
eat flesh, it gives you 1 scoundrel point, which certain abilities.
Scoundrel point.
Yeah, certain abilities can only be
If we get enough scoundrel points, we level up to like outcast buckaroo.
You can get like certain skills that you can only get by doing certain actions in the game. Adrenaline being one of them. It basically gives you more attacks in one turn at the cost of less attacks on the next turn. But first thing I'm gonna have to do is take that book. Thank you very much. And again, it doesn't really tell us anything. It just tells us how they made our collar, but it's the principle of the thing. You can also go in here and pick more books, which they don't really have anything. Oh yeah, and this is a cool thing too. You don't if you want to pick something up and then move it, you can just click on it, drag it, and move it like to where you want it to go. Let's see if the skull has anything.
Dead, are you? Probably a good idea.
Doesn't really have anything to tell us, but there is a medicine cabinet I forgot to loot last time. Well, nothing in it. Okay. Oh, no, I woke everyone up. I don't know if anything happens if you don't wake them up, but better safe than sorry.
Well, I mean, none of them wake up.
Yeah. Alright. So, for example, I have this water barrel and this fire blocking the path. I could hold the water barrel, which is heavy, but I could also just take it, drag it over here, and it'll eliminate the fire. But we got another dog here that we gotta talk to.
The hound claws desperately at its snout. It winces as it draws blood from its wet black nose and continues scratching. The dog notices you for the first time and snarls, the hairs on its back prickling as it lowers itself into a lunge.
You sorcerer!
It sneezes suddenly and paws at its nose once more.
Can't smell. Can't breathe. Too much sauce. Too much. Too much. Please, make it stop.
So last time I played this, I said the first one, and I couldn't really do anything. We also can tell the dog, you take care of it, or put the dog out of its misery.
Too much. Too much. Can't smell. Can't breathe.
The dog whines and continues pawing at its nose.
So that's 2 dogs met, but unfortunately you can't help that dog.
Not long before this thing snaps into splinters.
Okay, poison arrow. That's good.
Can we just like stab ourselves in the neck?
Actually, what we can do is we can literally throw down a bottle of poison and walk in that, and that'll heal us.
Damn, that doesn't bode well. Onwards and upwards.
So if a door is locked like that, you can hold control, and if it doesn't have that much health, you can break it down.
Well, I thought you could pick locks.
Thank the gods.
Oh,
By
yeah.
divine grace, what was...
I guess I could, but I could also break it down with the pitchfork.
He eyes the collar circling your neck and reaches a hand towards his blade.
Another sorcerer!
The Magister's companion doesn't blink, frozen in place at the sight of you.
Like you don't know? Mutiny! Did that witch fix your collar too?
He whispers loudly to the other Magister.
Don't just cower there, Riggs. Take out your blade.
Rix grabs his sword, which shakes in the rhythm of his trembling hand.
So this is the first time where the game really teaches you that you don't have to fight these guys. You can we have high intelligence, so we can tell them that we appreciate Rick and Morty on a level higher than them, and get
intelligence.
out.
I'm Pickle Rick. Rub-a-dub-dub-dub.
We can get out of that fight.
Rix looks to his companion, who then looks to you. They drop their hands to their sides.
Go on then. Find a place to hide and stay there.
And you get experience for not fighting them. Also, I didn't really talk much about it, but the journal in this game is really good. Like, it's actually kind of written like a journal. So if you want to know kind of like what your character is feeling, you can really just sit down and read what their, like, thoughts are about matters. There is, however, a fun glitch that I discovered that if you, the game keeps, like, a log of literally every tutorial as well. Every dialogue that you have with somebody, in case you want to, like, reread that. But if you go to your journal from there, if you go to archived... I got it to do it yesterday where I pretty much, like, put every single one of these onto its own line. Maybe it got fixed. Maybe it only works if you do a certain character. Oh well. So we don't have to fight these guys. We can, however, take, rob their ship blind, including another chest, which has an identifying glass, you can identify items to, like, we have Lore Master, because we're an elf. We can, identify, like, properties of an item or properties of a, enemy. We can also have a toy crossbow, mushroom, and another healing potion, which are all good.
Well, the potion isn't.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It is poison to us. Well, it'll be better to one of our partners. Resurrection Scroll, which are really important. Resurrection Scrolls are the only way to bring people back from the dead. But not any of the, like, piles of meat that we have. Oh, wait, I do want to destroy that painting really quick.
Back.
Yep, can't bring the dog back. That is mine now.
God damn it! Need to get off this wreck, and quick!
Alright, that chest didn't have as much. Alright, better bow. Oh, found some beer. Hell yeah. Let's see what the note says.
You pass through the door and are suddenly face to face with an undead. His skull is bizarrely angular, and a glorious jewel sits in the middle of his forehead. The skeleton is quickly leafing through a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia, muttering to himself.
No, no, no! What damn fools record knowledge on a pulped tree?
So, remember the, elf who was downstairs reading before?
It catches fire,
that was the skeleton in
it
disguise.
turns into must when wet.
Okay.
It cannot even resist acid. No wonder they're so bloody ignorant.
The skeleton looks up and notices you for the first time.
Oh, it's you. Shouldn't you be running and screaming or some such?
The skeleton groans and looks back to his book, frantically flipping from page to page.
I know that you were mortal once, but could you not have let their ignorance fall away with your flesh? I have neither lungs to drown nor stomach to poison. This ship's fate does not concern me. No, damp robes are the most I have to fear. Once this glorified skiff hits the sea floor, I will simply walk to shore. You, on the other hand, would be better placed finding a lifeboat. I dare say you would be hopelessly lost in the ocean's dark heart.
I mean, I'm also a skeleton.
The skeleton holds up his book in one quick, frustrated movement.
I am trying to discover if there is anyone worth saving, and I will be damned if I let the lives of some mayflies get in my way. Go on, go, swim or drown or do whatever takes your fancy. I have a book to read.
Yeah, he's definitely the best character.
I like him.
A nice thing is if you haven't looted someone before, they'll be outlined in gold. So you're not like wasting your time checking stuff you may have already checked. But we did find that nice key with the skeleton on it. And there is that door with the skeleton on it. Oh, never mind, we got a better shirt.
Right, use the skull key on the skull door to go to the skull room and assemble the Shrine of the Silver Monkey.
You press your palm against it, doesn't budge. The door groans open.
Something's breaking through! What in the hell's are those things?
Death fog. Good thing I'm immune. Still, this means trouble.
So that was the Kraken that is basically fucking the ship up right now. Death fog is kind of like this game's poison, or like stuff that humans can't go through. But yeah, we're immune, so we can go through it just fine. Also,
does this happen every time?
Yeah, this does. We can pick up the good part of a sword, aka just a broken one-handed sword. Oh, and better pants. Do a little bit of arranging. So I never, like, I couldn't go through this as a human, but I can actually see what's down here. Like a couple more people I can loot. Yeah, instant death for the living.
Oh, instant death.
Instant death for the living. So basically, being able to come here are perks that are only for the undead. And it's not that much. I mean, I'd imagine they probably wouldn't want to put anything really good here to avoid making undead broken early on, but another one. I love dual wielding wands, so I'm really hoping I can find another one soon. Ah, damn. So that guy did a real good job fighting there. So normally this would be the fight where you could see that the slugs could walk through the poison and get hurt, but this actually heals me now. So I can just stand in here and let them come to me.
Okay.
But the poison does hurt them.
Oh, they're little bugs.
Yeah, so what the story of this is apparently when you overuse void magic, it summons these little void monsters. And I'm gonna turn one of them into a chicken.
So is this... You can either move and attack or attack twice?
Yeah. So I have 4 AP. And AP, you can use 1 AP to move. 2 AP... Like, you can kind of see when I'm hovering over basic attack. You see how it takes 2 of those red, orbs? Those show how many AP it takes. So I can basically do Tentacle Lash and a basic attack. Or I can move a fair distance. Or I can move up to 5 meters for 1 AP, and up to like 20 on 4.
Okay.
So right now I got that. I still got that. Okay, he broke the chickening. The last time I played this, I got him to get stuck. Like, as a chicken, he managed to run into a place that he couldn't get out of.
Oh, well, can you get in there?
I can. But, like, it's hard. Like, when he's a chicken, he runs away. And he pretty much just managed to... It's like a person who gets their head stuck in a... banister. There are a lot of disadvantages to being undead. Primarily, healing potions kill me, and poison heals me. As well as I have to either have a hood on, or I can't show my face in public, otherwise they'll start screaming. So there are actually disadvantages to being undead. So normally fire would hurt, but that's why we have these water barrels saved. And there are more down here, and if I don't feel like picking them up in my inventory and carrying them the entire time, I could just do this.
Is there a reason you have to, like, leapfrog them like this?
It's just easier than putting them in my inventory. See, this person has a much better... There, that person has actually what I was looking for. Now I can go back to the build I had last time, which is a fire wand in one hand, and where's my other wand? Air wand in the other. I mean, mostly it does this part just to kind of teach you that, hey, environmental things, you can use a water barrel to put out a fire.
A lifeboat. That means there's still a chance.
Shut your trap, kid. Children and dwarfs first, just like the old stories say.
The dwarf yanks at one
Oh, so I gotta like doubly take out any healers, like more so than usual.
Enemy healers will target you, huh?
I mean, normally we take out healers anyway. The good old MMO rule.
You see those tentacles, kid? It's time for...
Thank you,
Oh.
There's a ladder right over...
You're gonna be the death of us, you hear?
You can walk. Wait! Find Woken!
So they all just conveniently wake up after that.
We have to go get them?
Oh no, they're awake. If you look at the top of the screen, this shows like the attack order. So you can kind of like take priority and see who you want to take out first. So now that I got these two wands, I can throw two at the same time. And burning has a lasting effect, so that burning effect will probably take care of him.
I thought Voidwoken was supposed to be scary.
Our party members are better at fighting than we are.
Let the games begin.
Oh, it tells you what they do too. Okay.
Yeah, so they can she can void teleport to do a backstab. And adrenaline to get an extra attack.
These beardless bugs won't sink a ship on my watch.
Oh, I'm encouraged. And that dwarf is very, very bright.
I kind of like the combat.
The combat of this game is... A lot of it is centered on using elements, like, properly.
Away! The sea's hungry. We don't have much time.
So you can do stuff like cast fire on a thing of water, turn it to steam, and then hit it with lightning to electrify the steam. Like blood.
Really?
Yeah, blood can be electrified or frozen.
Put on this damn collar.
But let's try and get C1 awake.
Oh, if you freeze the blood, will the enemy slip on it?
Yes.
To stem the bleeding of a gush
Oh, that's
with
awesome.
jagged movements, she raises her clenched fist and holds out a length of cloth soaked with some kind of blood. Quickly soaks through the cloth. Magister C1's mouth opens and closes, her eyes wide in terror. It's working. The pressure is stemming the flow of blood. C1 clutches your arm. Her eye, something within the ship, snaps. The floorboards shudder. C1 struggles to her feet, clinging to you tightly. The ship lets out a deep groan, then cracks.
So you can choose to go to the lifeboat with your friends, or try and basically keep her alive. So there are like there's a fair amount of like actions you can do to change the outcome of certain things. Also, hey Kraken, you big old friendly buddy. Yeah,
Kraken.
You can soak them with rain and then freeze them.
I have plans for you, child. Right.
There's a lot of combo potential in this game.
So are these like big changes? Like, is this a huge change than if we
Honorable
just
Dallas,
decided to go to the
we
lifeboat?
lost a ship
I haven't
sailing
gotten far enough in the
sorcerer
game to
prisoners
confirm or deny it, but
We assume some escaped
I'm assuming that
and broke their
C1 probably
colours.
would have died if I didn't
Vile magic
apply
lured the
pressure
Voidwoken.
to the cut on her throat.
All who were aboard are presumed dead. Yours faithfully into eternity.
High Judge Oriven.
But we're okay because we can't die anyway.
Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah. Us and Fane are fine. Everyone else is like, eh. Fend for yourself. Loading Fort Joy. Which really should be the name of the town in We Happy Few, now that I think about it.
Those Voidwoken made short bloody work of the ship. Am I the lone survivor? This must be Fort Joy.
So, let's see. Let me clean up my hotbar a little bit. I'm gonna want to take healing potions off my hotbar. You also have a scroll which gives you a one-time cast of any spell. So if I absolutely need someone to get set on fire, I could hit them with that. I also have this oil flask, which combine that with my fire wand, meaning I could set someone on fire if I really need it. Let's see that ability list. Here we go. Adrenaline. Gain 2 action points immediately, but lose 2 action points next turn. Any action points over your maximum are lost. Requires Scoundrel 1. Another cool thing is the sneaking. Remember how we turned into a barrel when we were on the ship? If we try and sneak here, we become a bush.
Okay, so it's context sensitive.
Yeah. And if you're ever confused about what you can or can't pick up, just usually holding Alt will let you know what is pick upable. I like the if you rob from the grave of the stone, take that flower pot and check its item description. It's pretty funny. Where is it? Here we go. Why leave flowers around to beautify the environment when they can adorn the inside of your backpack instead? So let's throw all this food into this backpack.
Oh, you can put the stuff back, okay.
Yeah, the backpack is, like they said, seemingly bottomless. And also, if you want to gauge the worth of a bunch of items, like everything in my backpack right now is currently worth 186 gold. And then, of course, you can just sort it as well. Oh, we got a wee Todd over here. Let's go talk to him.
The child has a small mirror in his hands. He holds it up at angles, inspecting his eyes, his cheek.
I'm not supposed to talk to elves.
The
I'm
child
not just an elf.
considers your statement.
You're weird. Are you a sorcerer? One of those guys that brings the bad void things here?
The child screws up his face and looks at you hard. He lifts his
Screws up his face.
Closes one eye and looks at himself again.
I don't see any source on you or me. I guess they're wrong. or crazy.
They're wrong and crazy.
Maybe you're right. At least they don't mind where anyone goes. They know we can't leave the island, and it's a lot nicer out here than inside. But you didn't die.
Oh, I would say that I survived the attack by the skin of my teeth, but...
There isn't anywhere safer. That's what you'll see.
I don't really have that.
Guess I am, but...
Yeah, you're a brave kid. Want to join my team? Look at my mask. Look at what I really look like. Hoo-hoo-hoo. So I wonder if whoever, you run into a survivor. I wonder if that is randomized as well. I know I ran into the Red Prince when I was here.
Voidwoken. Those are the same beasts that sank our ship. Damn, they've made it to shore.
So you can sneak to get the drop on enemies in combat. And the sneaking is actually pretty cool. They have like the conal sights right there that'll if you sneak in, if you are walking in them when they're looking at you, they'll instantly notice an attack.
They caught you.
Yep, but my I guess my wand has a little bit of shock power to it too, so I have shocked the blood. So if one of them decides to walk through it, they will get a pleasant surprise.
Oh, the bug talks to us.
Yeah, they can talk, which is a little weird and off-putting. They'll always be in the same spots on the island for party members at least. Okay, so I'll be able to find the prince pretty close by. So I want to see what this is actually like. I'm gonna walk to here, and then I'm gonna electrify this blood. No, what? Sometimes the one of the only problems I find with this game is when you're walking. If I just want to do something simple like electrify this blood, it'll take my walk as a, I'm trying to aim, and it thinks I'm trying to walk.
Well, then how do you electrify the blood?
You have to use it at the beginning of your turn. You have to pick your attack at the beginning of the turn.
These bloody collars were supposed to keep those things at bay.
No, I'm out of combat.
Drowned and eaten by a Voidwoken. I wonder in which order.
Oh, and it just walked around the blood anyway.
Yeah, it just walked around it anyway. Because it's looking like if you shock it enough, it actually, like, will dry up. No, I'm seeing what's happening. The fire in it's getting electroshocked from the air wand, because that's actually got, even though it says air, it actually does lightning damage. But the fire is drying it up.
I see.
Like, it takes a AP to move, and sometimes it's hard to tell if you're aiming at not an enemy with your item, or, a misclick could basically fuck up your AP.
We have green dots.
Green on the map?
No, on the left side. On your character screen.
Oh, right, I leveled up. So we can put points in, you know, your standard D&D, increased strength, increased finesse. I'm gonna up intelligence. Intelligence and wits. Wits seems like the luck of this game, which is pretty good. Increases critical chance, initiative, your ability to detect traps and find hidden treasure. Like, that's a pretty damn cool skill. Then these are more like just skill stuff, like dual wielding, range, single-handed, two-handed. All these you can kind of respec if you at the end of not that far into the game. So if you were ever like afraid that you made a mistake, you can always respec your character without much problem. So I'm gonna increase my dual wielding, which increases damage and dodging when dual wielding two one-handed weapons. Those two one-handed weapons just happen to be two wands. And I'm gonna up persuasion because I'm already working with the shit hand on this good old skull face here. I might as well have everything I can. Oh, we also found a recipe book to show how to craft a couple of things. Like if you tie a shiv to a stick, you have a sword.
That makes sense.
Speaking of crafting, here's the crafting panel right here. Hey, Schwa, how's it going? And what we can do here, like for example, we have a bowstring, an arrow shaft, and an arrowhead. So we can combine these three. And if we were, let's try putting something like the dog essence. Let's not waste that. If I want to put something like this poison bottle, I can make more poison arrows from that. Alright, somehow that's somehow an arrow shaft, an arrowhead, and a bowstring. Oh, that's a bowstring, not an arrow. See if we can make an arrow. There we go. Just a good old normal arrow.
So, is this like... Do you just drag stuff in there until something pops up in the bottom?
Yeah, if you mess up and say, for example, make something that's not a good combination, it's not the, it won't like, you won't lose the item unless it's like, you won't lose the item. And there are recipes as well. So
Okay.
to make something like a makeshift wand, we have to have a short stick and a skull.
Can you combine the soap with the animal hide?
Let's take a look. Experimentation's never a bad idea. Invalid combination. But we could probably combine the animal hide with the shiv. Yep, and we got some leather scraps out of that. And we get to keep the shiv.
Oh, okay.
So the shiv
it's like
doesn't...
you use the
yeah,
shiv.
the shiv doesn't break as part of that. Which actually makes me wonder, now that I'm thinking about it, these, like, other clothes that I had before, can I... I was wondering if I could disassemble them into, like, their bare components. And there are also runes, which we don't know how to enchant anything just yet. But you can make, like, enchanted gear. Alright, there's a familiar face. But let's ignore him and go into the water first.
You spot a strange lizard gazing over the water with a steady, malcontent stare. His skin is of a bright, blood-red color. Could he be... Yes, You recognize him.
Bitch, I might be.
It would seem you're not the only one who survived the tentacles.
No, it's some other bright red lizard. They're like a dime a dozen.
Smirk and tell him his slave has come to report
the
for
lizard
duty.
Turns about with the graceful ease of a dancer, or a duelist. You lock eyes with his.
And a dutiful servant you are too. The chances are I wouldn't have survived that shipwreck had you not returned to the aid of your master down that dreadful hole. You have my gratitude.
Hand over heart, he salutes you with a bob of the head. More than a nod, though less than a bow.
Yes, I'm sure you've all the makings of a hero and all that, but let's not get carried away, shall we?
What a
Nevertheless, one good turn does deserve another, so as far as the whole slave business is concerned, let's just forget about it. You may as well have your freedom.
This is literally what happened in the Civil War. Just, forget about that nastiness.
Now then, if there's nothing further, I'm sure I don't.
Yeah, what are you doing
sound
on that rock?
condescending, but I had thought it quite self-evident I was gazing out over the waves.
He sighs dramatically.
Tell me, what do you see when you cast your glance over this ocean?
A pretty well-rendered, coral.
I see water.
Touché.
He looks out over the water once more, and so do you. A few tranquil moments pass as the waves lap against your thoughts.
As for myself, when I consider this vast expanse before us, I see an empire. I see continents dotted with mighty cities. And shimmering along the soft curve of the sea's horizon, I picture the palaces that formed my paradise. Lost.
People see castles in the sky, might as well see them in the sea.
Yes, but these weren't castles in the sky, were they? Quite obviously, I was musing over the very actual empire that I lost.
I like that he has to explain the joke,
Suddenly,
or explain the
having
reference.
all the air of being deeply offended, he stares at you with utter incredulity.
Well, don't just stand there gawking like an ape at an abacus. Or do you really mean to tell me you don't know who I am?
I'm the. I like this one just because it has the you're the famous king.
Oh, may the seven have mercy on their own creation. I am the Red Prince, the All-Conqueror, the World Tamer, the spouse of the sun. Of course you know me.
There's a brief moment's pause, during which his grandiloquent pose deflates ever so slightly.
That said, I suppose I must own up to the fact that I find myself rather in between all-conquering and world-taming opportunities at the moment. The grandeur that is my fate has...
It's too bad they couldn't get Tim Curry for this guy.
Oh my god, wouldn't it be perfect?
For the throne I was destined, and my throne I shall have...
I see you shudder with Antissa. Patient.
Truly. A kind offer indeed. Fine, I accept, on one condition. For reasons I'll not disclose right now, it is imperative that I should meet with a dreamer, one of the mystics of my kind. I've reason to believe one of them may be present on this island. Promise me we'll look for him, and I'll extend you the blessing of my company. Jolly good.
How do you feel about the, living impaired?
The undead? Like your good self, you mean? Come now, did you really think a handful of linen towels can fool me? But don't worry. I have studied the arcane arts for years, including necromancy and demonology. I do not hold the petty prejudices of common folks. In fact, I prefer the exceptional in all things. Your secret is safe with me.
Have you ever seen the one Twitter account of the guy who spent 5 years making a joke? In 2012, they tweeted, "I see you shuddering with Antissa." Waited 5 years without any other tweets, and then in 2017 finally did Patient.
So, now that that's settled, first things first. Even if you are as versed in the art of eloquence as I am, that our swords will be doing a lot of the talking from here on out goes without saying. As a born fighter, I prefer the perfection of the blade myself. But I'm well acquainted with the secrets of magic and, yes, even subterfuge. What say you?
So you can literally have people in your party take on any role that you really need.
Oh.
But they all have one that's kind of like their thing, and then ones that, like subclasses that they can take. So that's kind of why I went with the magic user. Because I know, like, for example, he is going to be a pretty good duelist. But if I really needed someone, another spellcaster, I could have him become a mage.
Very well.
Okay.
Onwards then to victory or death.
The Red Prince nods and gives you a smile that wavers ever so delicately between courtesy and contempt.
Now, as you're aware, you'll be travelling with a prince. Proper forms of address include Your Majesty, Your Royal Highness, or if you're feeling particularly frivolous, Milord.
Me thinks not.
As your luck would have it, I seem to be fresh out of luggage, so you won't be required to carry my belongings. Of course, there are other forms of protocol to bear in mind, but I'll see to it you'll pick up the rest as we go. So, without further ado, let us be off.
So I have access now to his backpack as well as my own. And he's got a Molotov cocktail, healing potion, resurrection scroll, and his own backpack, which has really nothing. In terms of his skills, he's got a couple of different ones than us, and I had thought when I had first played this that they kind of did their own thing in battle, but I don't know if you can, but for the most part, you play as each person, so he's got a lot of, like, Battle Stomp, Shield Bounce, Fortify, Fire Breathing, so he's going to be the up close.
So it's not like it's just these are, like, AI companions. It's like a Final Fantasy Tactics where you control pretty much every unit you've got.
Yep. There also seems to be a little bit of a glitch. I don't know how to fix it, but if you switch between characters, the camera doesn't seem to really know what to do. And I've always found that whenever I do that, I just save and reload. If you can talk to a character and just have like maybe if I initiate, if I initiate dialogue with him, it'll recenter the camera too. And of course, you can always talk with your compatriots as well, and like we can tell him that we're happy he survived the shipwreck.
A prince should die of... That said, I've the distinct feeling there was something in the water. A voice made of air that soothed my flooding lungs. It was sudden. As a matter of fact, yes. You doubt, perhaps. Mine still.
He hesitates.
Are you a religious person?
So, I already know this because I've done this part before. If you tell him you're a religious person, he loses affinity points with you because he doesn't like the religious people.
I'm rather relieved to hear it. Religious persons tend to be all too...
He doesn't like he doesn't like anyone who worships someone more than him.
As for myself, I perform the ancient rites of prayer and...
Okay, I figured it might be something like rebind, camera lock, and control. I'll take care of that on my own time.
After all, when one is revered by many as a living god oneself, public deprecation would be needlessly self-important as well, wouldn't you say? There was a small... such a nuisance, the law. Quite necessary to keep the common in line, of course, but one such as myself it should exempt as a matter of course. Notice that, did you? For future reference, if I don't answer a question, it's because I don't want to. I hardly know you as yet. Let's leave some mystery in the relationship, shall we? We can exchange criminal records later.
And if we hit M, we can take a look at the map. Our destination is somewhere around there, but we have this whole nice map to explore. I know there's someone around here somewhere. This little cat buddy.
A black cat.
I think I might need to go.
See this as
Yeah, it's probably a good point to. But let's talk to this cat first.
The cat's eyes are
I'm counting the cat as a dog.
But it stares at you with acute intensity.
Cats are dogs, yeah.
What? How did I get... Hey, stop following me.
I didn't examine, but I didn't get Fane in my last playthrough. But I didn't furiously examine everything.
Me? I know who I am. But at least I think I do. Sometimes it feels like... No, I know who I am. Who are you?
Oh, I'm just a spiritualist who never foresaw this future.
Most don't see what's coming. Can't see what's ahead. Can't keep my mind.
Is this cat drunk?
straight.
Aren't all cats drunk
The
when you
cat
think about
shakes
it?
its head, as if trying to wake up from a deep sleep.
Huh? Yeah, fine. I'm fine. I'm not sure.
The cat opens his mouth as if to speak, but his eyes lose focus, and with a jerk he turns away from you.
So I can see this animal talking ability is paying dividends already.
Yep. And yet the cat is still following us. Oh, and if you don't like the just clicking around, you can just hold the left trigger and move around.
I'm guessing something happens after it follows you around enough.
It's the only thing I can think of. Maybe if we bring the cat to this kid. Hey kid, we got a cat for you.
You can stay out here with me if you want.
Now I know also there are some, we haven't run into any of them yet, but there are some hidden things. Like you can find a hidden gravestone that you can dig up if you have a lizard in your party.
Yeah, I think I have to go.
Yeah, I think it's a good place to call it. Alright, well, we've started the great tale of Dranos the Dogmancer. What do you think? I know you don't have much experience in these, but how you feel about this?
I don't know. I guess I'd have to see more combat.
Yeah. Alright, keeping the cat alive long enough apparently does give us something. Well, it is in Steam right now. I think it's the kind of thing that maybe, I'm get the feeling that when December comes, it's probably gonna go on sale. Might be a good time to look into it. I think it would just be interesting to do co-op in this. Because co-op is there's a lot of ways to bring any Steam user, Steam friends, invitation only. So you can bring up to 3 friends with you for this, as well as if you go to let's see, oh, we saved already. So if we go to like the main menu now that we have connectivity turned on, we you can just kind of hop into people's games, and like arena fighting or like random online matches. Yeah, it's cool. It's the more I'm playing of it, the more oh wow, it's drop in, drop out co-op, which is apparently smooth as silk.
I see.
Oh, and you get to control their character if they aren't there to play.
Oh, and it shows you what level they're at.
Yeah. Alright, well, with that, thank you everyone for coming out on this good Tuesday evening. Tomorrow we have I have a pretty fun thing planned for New York Snark Exchange stream. I recommend checking it out. It is going to be I'm really looking forward to it.
Is this a secret or?
Yeah, I can give a little bit of a heads up, because Ray is not watching this. So, Ray is not a fan of Sonic Forces, which I think it's a fine game. I think it's a fun game. I think it's good. But he, like, I've talked to him about streaming Sonic Forces, and he just refuses to do it. So instead, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be taking that Onichabara, zombie bikini girl anime zombie killing game, the one that I bought for like $15 as Galgun Part 2. I'm gonna be playing that zombie game on stream with a Twitter poll open for which people want to see, Sonic Forces or Onichabara. I played a little bit of it. Onichabara is not a good game. It is a pretty bad game. But every 15 minutes, Ray will have the decision to switch over to Sonic Forces. But only Sonic Forces. So it's kind of like my...
You give him the button and he can either push the button or not push the button.
I'm giving him... This is basically my jigsaw test to him. He can slowly watch as our brand gets... He can slowly watch as our brand gets murdered in terrible PS4 bikini zombie death. Or he can watch me play my OC Run the fuck bear. So I highly recommend watching it. I am going to have a fun time with it. And with that, we'll take our leave. We'll see you guys tomorrow for me, Thursday for Pulahoko. See ya.
Yep.